Hey, family, this is Jay Willis coming back with another episode of Wealth is a Journey podcast. Guys, this is episode 104.
Let's go.
104 weeks of consistency, 104 weeks of getting it done. We out here moving, having a good guest, good content, and we getting it done out here, man. But before we get started, if you are a first-time listener, watcher, or subscriber, thank you so much for joining us. On this podcast, we talk about faith, family, and finances, among other things. If you are a return listener, watcher, subscriber, thank you so much for joining us again. Hopefully, we're adding value to your lives on the way to the M's, because as always, we are on the way to the M's. So speaking of M's, we have an illustrious guest. Before I introduce my podcast guest today, I love her parents so much. They are my people. They've been on this podcast before, Nancy and Gary Taylor. And today we have Raven Torres. Let's go.
What's up? What's up? Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. We love listening into the Wealth is a Journey podcast. So it is an honor. It is an honor.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. And her husband was on here a few weeks ago, Joshua Torres, and that was a phenomenal episode. And I don't think this episode is going to be anything short of that. So Raven, thank you so much again for joining us today. If you wouldn't mind, just giving us a small snapshot of who you are, what you do, and then we're gonna get into it.
Absolutely. Yes. So my name is Raven Torres. I am a mom to a 4-year-old and 16-year-old daughter, bonus mom, and married business owner. I am very passionate about business. I am a personal trainer and I run a retail e-commerce brand, amongst a lot of other things that I like to dibble and dabble in.
Let's go. Let's go. So Raven, as I was thinking about this podcast episode, I started thinking about, like, people think that you just arrive at this place of being successful. I believe you're super successful. And what I'd like to get into is, who was Raven the kid? Because I always like to hear the backstory of how somebody got to exactly where they are. And I think that that's going to be super impactful for the guests as well, for the podcast audience.
I love that. I love that question. I'm a very big psychobehavioral person. I like to always ask people where did you come from and stuff like that. I want to know things. So that's a great
Yes.
question. It's funny because I would definitely say since I was a kid, I've been a hustler. I've been hustling my art. I've been hustling candy. I've been trying to figure out ways that I could help things. And I've just always been really a creative person with my hands. And as I was growing up, I was one of those kids that wanted to be a million and one things and could never stick to one thing. And I was like, you know what, maybe that's who I'm gonna be, just someone who is just able to morph and continue to change. And I definitely feel like my life has been nothing short of that. I've done so many different things, but as a kid, I was super passionate about finding a way and doing my own thing. My mom would say I was a little hard-headed, but a little stubborn at times, but I think it's done me well.
But I wonder. Let me stop you real quick. I wonder where you got that from.
You
No
know,
shot to your mom. I love your mom, but
too far from the tree.
that's a fact.
Yeah, so that would be where I was at as a kid. I was super passionate about always trying new things, growing, figuring things out. I didn't really have many people around me with entrepreneurial experience. So everything has been I'm gonna just figure out how to do this. All right, okay, let's do it. Now, how do I get people to pay me for this?
Yes. Yeah, that was one of the things that I recognized when I was talking to Josh. And we talked about that. I'm like, yo, as we were talking, I'm like, yo, you were the kid that sold stuff at school. Like me, I was the same way. I would just go get an hour later. So I don't know if that was a thing when you were a kid. Go get an hour later, Boston baked beans, lemon heads, and I would go to the corner store and I would take them right to school and I would sell them.
I got them $1, 75 cents, 50 cents. Yep. Honey buns. I used to flip honey buns.
Yo, that's crazy. So I believe also, when you say you're a hardhead, I believe that disruptors are kids, and people might look at them like, they're a hard head or they're this or they're that. But I feel like that needs to just be honed, and then they can become something great. Because I was the same way. I was in behavioral classes and different things of that nature, and I had behavior problems, but I honed some things in, and then I became, or I'm on my way to greatness. I'll say that.
Right. There you go. I would consider you in your era of greatness. Absolutely. But I definitely think that like we find out as kids that like the box don't fit for us. Like
Yes.
there's those kids, you just know. I look at my son now and I'm like, that box don't fit for him. We're gonna make the best out of it. But
Yeah.
you some people recognize it in kids, some kids recognize it in themselves too, that they're just like, maybe don't like to conform to rules, don't like to like, or they like to ask why a lot. That was my thing, like, why I gotta do this? Why can't you do this? I
Mm,
want to know
oh
how can we
man,
make this easier for both of us?
bruh, I can only imagine how that went in the house. Just knowing your mom, a fam, I
Not
can
too
only
well.
imagine.
Well, not too well. But I think it's a part of people discovering themselves too. And I like you said, it's good to when you see those characteristics in kids and young people to really hone in on it and like figure out how you can contain it with respect versus like
Yeah,
trying to dim it or like muffle it,
yeah,
and them for their card information via email. And they were sending it back.
that's crazy. Yo, tell me more about that. So was this people in Delaware, or were they outside of?
Was out. So this was when MySpace was big, MySpace was
Mhm.
growing and stuff. And then there was Tumblr. So Tumblr was like our Instagram or like our Pinterest
Okay.
without the ability to like shop directly through it. So it was like you could see stuff, you could search images, you could find all these things, you could find people and profiles, but it wasn't like a payment place. So I was like, okay, if I could get myself out here on Tumblr and like take pictures myself of the jeans and show videos of me making it, and slowly but surely, I would just get like little orders here and there, and girls from Washington, girls from Florida. And it was just like, I was like, okay, I got a little business. And it's crazy because, like I said, this was such a like not protected. It was so unregulated then. And I was like, these people just trusted this little 16-year-old girl with their parents' credit card information, their credit card information. And I was able to manually run it through like a website, but I didn't have a website up and running. So it was like, it was chaotic, but I found a way. I found a way.
What's going on, family? This is Che Willis from Wealth as a Journey. Did you know that we just started a wealth building community? In this community, we meet once a month on Zoom. We discuss financial areas of opportunity. We discuss wins and strategies to get you to the M's. In anybody's wealth building journey, if you're just starting out, it can be super lonely and difficult. In this community, we're also going to hold you accountable to where you say you want to be. So if you need the accountability, if you need the family atmosphere, if you need help getting to your desired financial result, come join the community. My website is www.wealthisajourney.com. Join the community today to get to your financial result. Thank you.
Crazy. I love that, man. And so how did it morph into
Yeah.
after graduating? Like, where did you go after that? What did you do?
So ironically, after graduating, my goal was to go into the military. I enlisted into the Air Force right after graduating. I graduated at 17. My birthday's a little early. So I enlisted in the military and that did not go work out as well. I got medically discharged. And I was like, all right, well, I gotta figure life
Question.
out now.
Question real quick.
Mhm.
Was it the behavioral thing again? Because military and hard hit don't really go together.
So I literally didn't even get out of boot camp. So as there, I definitely feel like I was in there long enough to learn discipline.
Okay.
So again, since ninth grade, I knew I was going to enlist in the military. Like there was no other plan for me. I was in
Okay.
junior ROTC. I was in all of that stuff, all of those activities. My parents kept me super aligned with my goals. I didn't get in any trouble and stuff like that to like, make sure I was able to do that. So I feel like it was a purpose for me to have that dream to go in there because had I not, I wouldn't have had the discipline, the intrinsic motivation to do things. I would have still been very chaotic and, like I'm going to do this my way, where the military did kind of show me boundaries. It taught me like, it don't work like that. Or like, if you want something, you need to get up early and you got to sacrifice certain things to get it. So that it wasn't a behavioral thing. It was medical. I got injured and I wasn't able to continue. And
Sure.
so from there, I was lost. I was I was an 18, going on 18-year-old girl. Like, what is next? Like, I didn't have no money for college.
Yeah,
I thought the military was going to pay for school. That was at the end game for me.
sure.
Um, but I tell people all the time, like, if I almost opted for the option to re-enlist, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I wouldn't have found Raven.
Yeah,
I found myself in my early 20s and realized that that wouldn't have been the life. I would have been um muting myself, because I was able to find my personality just with boundaries and learn a little bit more about myself. And so from there, I kind of got my behavior in check, my little attitude in check, and I was just winging it. I moved when it was time for me to move. I found the cheapest place that I could go live by myself, and I moved in with a family member temporarily for like 6 months. And then I was like, all right, I'm out here on my own. I got to figure it out. So I started
yeah,
waitressing. I got into the restaurant hospitality industry very young. I waitressed and served for 8, 9 years, bartended, from fine dining to like pub style, nightclubs, all of that. So I did have a wide range of hospitality experience.
yeah,
I love people. I love anywhere where I can engage. I don't get tired. Like, people charge me up. So
yeah,
I was able to, and in that period, those 8 years of like, 8, 19 to 26, 27, I was just dibbling, dabbling in things. I had an apartment. I had a boyfriend. I met my boyfriend, and I was like, well, I'm gonna stay at your house and Airbnb my apartment on the weekends. Like, I was just finding little loopholes at a young age to like, I'm gonna make this shake. I'm gonna make this
yeah.
work.
That's dope, man. And the thing is, a lot of times people will have a plan, right? Especially at a young age, and the plan doesn't work out. And then what? How did you have the mindset and the wherewithal to keep going, even though this plan A did not work and you had no plan B?
You know what's so crazy is, honestly, again, God does everything for a reason. And the way he pushed me out of one era will put me there to learn, to push me out into a very uncomfortable place, to really learn myself, to really learn surrender and to figure things out. I you I would say that leaving the military, getting kicked out the military, was the most depressing 3 years after of my life. I
Mm-hmm.
got involved with a really dark crowd of people,
Mm-hmm.
nightlife people. I was partying all the time. I wasn't even 21 yet. So I was like finding ways to go hang out. And like, these were things in my head that I was like, oh my God, if I were in the military, I wouldn't have never gotten to experience this, because I would have been on lockdown and I was underage and all this stuff. And I got that dose of freedom and was like, I had way too much fun for a few years. And so those few years, I realized that the depression got to me.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I let my parents down. I let myself down. I felt
Sure.
like I was like, everyone was so excited for me to, be in the military. And I was like, wow, this didn't work. Like, do I have to go back? What am I going to do? So I lived my life for 3 years, just, living my life like an early 20-year-old, living paycheck to paycheck, just working to pay my bills and have fun. But my health started to decline. And
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I had went to the doctor for not feeling good, and they told me I had a thyroid issue. And I was only 20 years old. And I was like, how could I possibly have a thyroid issue? Like, I'm like, what do you
Wow.
mean? I
Yeah.
had gained 40 pounds out of depression, and I'm only five
Wow.
foot. So that's a lot of weight for a 20-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And my body just started shutting down on me. And I was like, okay, this isn't, I got to start doing something. Social media was like on the rise. So you could still go online and like find workout videos. And like, that's when that stuff started coming about. So I would go to the gym at 2 o'clock in the morning when no one was in there by myself, because I was so shy, and work out by myself until I lost the weight. And that moment is when I realized I healed my depression, and I healed so much of myself by just spending time alone and realizing that I needed to get away from these distractions, that I fell in love with fitness and wellness. And as an athlete all my life, I cheered. I played a bunch of sports growing up. Every sport you could think of, I played. But you don't get prepared for when you're no longer a student athlete. Like, no one
Yeah,
prepares you for that era anymore. And
yeah,
it's like, part of me was like, I'm going to be a cheerleader forever. I'm going to be able to do things forever. And then when I wasn't able to at such a young age, I was like, wait a minute. I let the depression like take over my life. I let it
yeah,
control me. I let it consume me. So that's when I started working out and fell in love with fitness. I lost the weight. I got obsessed with bodybuilders and all of this stuff, and entered the world of wellness. And I've been, as a personal trainer now for going on 12 years, I've been a personal trainer. It has been a long journey of figuring it out.
yes.
from
Yes.
$10 sessions to, you know, converting my home into a gym for during the pandemic to have high intel clients. Like, it's been a journey, but I definitely will always give credit to that era of my life, that military era that didn't work out, because
Yeah.
it brought me here.
That's dope, man. So now it's all starting to make sense because, and I give your mom flowers all the time on this podcast because she was the one I was searching all the time. Like I would gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. And I never found the thing that really worked for me. My father-in-law, he's a personal trainer, boxer, and he used to always tell me, you can't outwork a bad diet. And I'm like,
Ding,
yo,
ding,
okay.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, I'm young. I'm cool. I'm gonna drink beer, eat honey buns, and I'm gonna work out. And it wasn't working for me. So anyway, my dad ended up getting sick. He passed away from diabetes, right? And then I'm still searching, like, what can I do? And then your mom was telling me that she was doing the keto diet. So I started doing the keto diet, and then I incorporated working out, and then that built my confidence. And then all these things started clicking for me of why it wasn't working before because I wasn't watching what I was eating, like literally. I was just, consuming it. I
Of
wasn't watching.
course, you
So
think you're gonna be fit and metabolism gonna be working forever.
exactly. But we're gonna stay right here real quick. This is what I tell my clients. You think you're going to be able to work forever, but you have to put away money, kind of like you're doing with your
Yeah,
discipline and eating right and things like that, because you're not going to be young forever. So when you want to chill, you can.
absolutely.
It all works together. Like you do the hard work now, so you can kind of ease up a little bit later.
You do the sacrifice now. I just got out of a challenge that I hosted for the New Year's. It's called the Built Different Challenge. We had 100 women sign up and 65 women finished. Um,
Nice.
and as a group, collectively, the group out of those 65 women that reported back in at the end, we've lost almost 400 pounds
That's good.
collectively in just 4 weeks. Literally, it was a 4 week challenge, and that was a big part of it. I would say out of those 60 something women that finished, probably over 40% of them are women over 40. And this is completely new to them. Like, I've
Yeah.
never in my life worked out. I go for walks during my lunch break with my girlfriend, and we're just talking crap, and then we eat Dairy Queen or whatever the case may be. And it's
Yeah.
like, this was a shell shock for them. And that was my daily pep talk with them. You want to look good, this is a sacrifice now. You have to put the effort into your bank now so you can withdraw later and you can feel your best. And I don't think we get so, like, the mundane life kicks in, right? We get
Hmm.
into stuck in routine. You're comfortable with your partner, and, like, people laugh at me and Josh, but we have a literal marriage contingency. Like, you have to take care of yourself.
That's awesome. That's good.
That's that's
I'm not
that's
mad at
that
that.
on that. You have
Yeah.
one responsibility, and that's to take care of your vessel the best you absolutely can. And not for me,
Yeah.
for you, for our kids. Like. So yeah, we got a fat clause in our marriage.
That's awesome.
But you know what? But
Yeah.
in our defense, it takes a long time to get there. So that's a
Yeah.
long time of not asking for help. That's a long time of letting yourself go. That's a long time of, battling things and not using your resources to figure out how you can fix it, because people get wrapped into it and they're like, oh, I'm from big boned women.
Mm-mm. Who said that? Like that's something you adopted. Like that's not the truth.
Who told you that?
Yeah.
you you
Crazy.
you hear people say stuff all the time, and like you digest it and it becomes your reality, right? And I think we do that every day in the things that we read, the things we consume. And it's like, at some point we got to take accountability and say, okay, I haven't been able to do this because I haven't been willing to sacrifice the rice
Yeah.
and beans and the late night eating and I don't like to wake up early. That's my favorite one. I'm like, oh, you don't like to wake up early, huh?
Bruh. Yo, I think it was your influence on your mom. Then she influenced me. And then her and Gary, and we ride bikes together and we work out and we push each other and things of that. But I think it was you. I'm connecting the dots here and I'm seeing it was you.
When my parents entered their fitness era, I was just like, Like, yo, my mom biked like 100 miles. What you do this weekend? Like,
That's right.
it was so crazy to me. These are things that
Yeah,
I don't even think that I could do or would try to do. And I'm like, it just makes me so proud. It truly makes me so proud. And it makes me so happy that she has a group of friends because that's super big. That sense of community, like you can't do it alone or like
yeah.
you will fall off, and being true to what it is that you want to accomplish, your goals will sprinkle into the people around you naturally. Like
Facts.
you don't got to force it onto people. People will see it on their own. And it just makes me super happy to see them as active as they are and so youthful and so young. I have friends with 50-year-old parents that are, very sick, that are not. And I'm
For
like,
sure.
my parents look like they like 33,
That's
34.
a fact. That's a fact. Looking amazing.
So
Looking.
it's been beautiful to watch.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then you incorporated the fitness and then had the clothing brand portion into that. So how did that come about?
Yeah, for sure. So I
Well, first of
started.
all, what is the clothing brand? I'm sorry. Let's
Yes, no,
start with that
absolutely.
first.
Rockfit World.
Okay.
So originally my personal training brand started as it's evolved into many different names over the last 12 years, as you can imagine. But my last one was Fit by Ray Cruz, LLC. And it was only personal training and online services and challenges. Like it was just focused on training and wellness. The pandemic hit, my followers were shooting up. I had a big community. I was doing live workouts on Instagram and like 50 people would show up to do them with me. And I was like, I had just had Jackson. I had Jackson the week that the pandemic and lockdown started. He was born March 11th. I think we went on lockdown like March 14th or something like
Hmm.
that. So he
Hmm.
was born that week. I was a new mom. I was going through postpartum depression as well. So I was trying to find my way back into what I loved, which was wellness and fitness, but also expand what I had going on. All the gyms shut down. Oh my God, my child. All the gyms had shut down during that time. And we were in this space. Actually, ironically, Josh and I were looking for a gym. I was like, I want a gym. And he was like, all right, let's do it. I was 7 months pregnant. We're looking for a gym. I was like, I'm gonna raise my baby in this gym. It's gonna be me and my baby in this gym. And then the pandemic hit, and I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, we can't open up a gym. Oh my God, like I had a friend in New York who had just opened up a gym, and she locked down a month later, and New York rent was crazy. And her husband had just had a baby as well. And I was like, she
Oh,
had no gym for a year, and it was just paying rent on this place that she couldn't do nothing out of.
that's awful.
And she made it. Her gym is still standing, thank God. So shout outs to
Good.
Killer Body Fitness in Long Island. But that was terrifying for me. And I was like, okay, I need to find something because now personal training has shut down. Like, no one is training anymore. I just had a baby. I wasn't really bringing in any income. Um, Shout out to my husband for holding it down because he wasn't even stressing me. And you know what I'm saying? Like he was
Shout out
like,
to
you're gonna
Josh.
figure it out. You're gonna figure it out. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to get back into training. And as I was building my social media following, I was like, what? These girls love me. Like, what can I give them? So I started making t-shirts, like fun little gym t-shirts.
Hmm.
And I started with a couple t-shirt designs. Then I started doing the waist trainers. My first waist trainer drop, I like sold out in like an hour. And I was like, okay, I think
Yeah.
I'm on to something here. I think I got
Yes.
something good. So
Yes.
that was at the very beginning of 2021. I really started like launching products, and I started off with very simple things like a catalog of like 5 things. And I rolled that out until I like learned and did the research to um figure out how to oversee sourcing and like expand from there. So that's Rockfit has been in the making for a few years now. Did I ever think I would own a retail clothing line? No, but prior to that, I sold handmade jewelry a few years before the pandemic. And I was just making stuff and selling it online through a website. And I was like, I like selling stuff, but like that became too consuming. Honestly, it grew so fast. I didn't have time. I couldn't keep up with the demand. And I was like, this is too much. I don't like it
It's a
anymore.
good problem to have.
It was. But
Yeah.
then I was like, it was just so stressful. And me being, again, I was like 25, 26, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I want to do this. I don't want to do that. So that's what made me say, okay, I'm gonna launch a brand and
Hmm.
build and try to strengthen my connection with my community. If I can give them something that makes them feel like they're part of me and like
Yeah.
that they can wear with pride, and boom, from there I birthed Rockfit World. Fit by Ray Cruz evolved into Rockfit World, and now it's a one under umbrella. So it's events, like boot camps, my traveling class, and then the personal training aspect, and then retail e-commerce.
Ooh. One thing I wanted to ask you about because you and Josh have a lot going on, right? Um, how do you, a lot of entrepreneurs have this problem with, okay, this is working over here, then I'm gonna focus over here, then I'm gonna focus over here, then I'm gonna focus over. Like, how do you hone it all in and just focus on one, maybe two things, maybe three?
It's
How do you
hard.
do
It's definitely
that?
hard. And I have ADHD, so my brain is scattered, which doesn't help. And being a new mom, it's like, I can definitely say I learned early in the game, when you master your minutes, you can master millions.
Yeah.
And like chaotic people aren't like progressive people. Chaotic people stay stagnant, and I found myself in so many of those places where I was not moving, not making progress. And I realized like my problem was time management. Like, how can my, when you're a sole entrepreneur and you're the marketing, the ads, the editor, the
Yeah.
photographer, the model, like it was so much going on that I was burning myself out, and I was starting to dislike it, that I realized that I was like, okay, I need to scale back and like compartmentalize everything.
Mm.
And, you know, on Mondays, it's strictly admin and marketing. On Tuesdays, we're strictly focusing on content, production, scheduling, editing, filming. Wednesdays, we rest. Thursday, we get back to the grind. So like I had to compartmentalize, honestly, my life in order for me to be able to do anything.
Yeah, the one thing I heard that was super important, I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't latch on to, is rest. We don't rest. Me myself, I'm going from the time I get up 5 something in the morning until 9 at night when I'm laying down. How did you know that that was like you had to do that? Because that's still a struggle for me sometimes. Like even when I rest, I'm
You
still
still
trying to
have
find, like, I'm in my brain, I'm like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do. So how do you do it? How?
Honestly, it took, in 2022, I started my first set of like wellness speaking engagements, and I got booked for a couple of speaking engagements. I got booked for a few retreats as coaches, and I was accepting every job because I was just like, I'm on the come up, baby. Book me today. Like, you need somebody to speak, I got you. Like, I was willing to do it all. And
Yeah.
that year I got sick and sick and sick and sick. Literally, my body kept shutting down on me, and I kept getting sick the exact same way. I have never had strep throat as an adult.
Mm,
That
mm.
year I got strep throat 6 times. And
Wow.
literally 6 times, to the point where I was down. It felt like the flu for like 4 days. And every time I would go to the doctor, they're like, you have strep throat again. And I'm like, what is going on? And on a spiritual level, I had to like dive deep and be like, okay, what is my body telling me that I'm not getting? And it was, I wasn't respecting my own boundaries. I
Mhm,
wasn't saying no when I knew I needed rest.
mhm.
And I was paying the price every time. My last speaking engagement, I'm in the hotel. They invited my family, so my family's enjoying the hotel. And literally the day that I got there, my 104 fever, body started shutting down, throat was swollen, and I had to speak the next morning. And I was just like, oh my God, what am I gonna
Wow.
do? Like, my body started completely shutting down. And that was the first year I never get sick. And I was like, wow, like, and I would say that was the year that I felt like the grind was working. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
people are seeing me. Like, my name is, I did 2 podcasts that year. Like, I was like, I'm on
Yeah.
the grind to the ground.
Yeah.
I was done. And literally that's when I was like, all right, I need to figure out a way, because the weekends we have sports with our kids, so we're traveling on the weekend. So clearly I can't use Saturday and Sunday. So I made Wednesday my non-negotiable. Nobody can reach me on a Wednesday. That's it. No,
Mm,
I don't book no clients. I don't take consultations. I do nothing. I try to do nothing. Some days
yeah.
I'll get bored and I'm like, all right, let me do some emails. But I do no labor
Yeah.
work, right? Like, I don't
Yeah.
go to the office. I try not to like go to the gym and go too hard. I just do things that serve myself, because otherwise I'm trying to teach my husband now, you need rest.
Bro.
You
I
need,
see him. I see him moving out here. Both of y'all.
fun fact, I seen that scientist said that a man only needs about 3.5 hours to 4.5 hours of sleep because of how high his testosterone is, and they can function on a full 24-hour day.
Word?
Women, listen, this is science. This is science.
Okay.
Women, a minimum of 7.5 hours just for them to have a good day, not a productive day, a good day. Without the emotions, without the chaos, without the foggy brain, like, you guys are less likely to get that, you
Yeah.
know? And I feel like also men are so, you guys are provider energy driven, where
Yep.
women are nurturing energy driven. So you
Mhm.
guys are like, I need to get to the bag. I need to get home. I need to see my family. Boom. Women are like, oh my God, did the kids eat? Did I pack this? Did I do this? Did I do that? Oh my God, who's going to iron the clothes tomorrow? Oh, I got sports today. Like we are so much more chaotic naturally
Yeah.
that it kicks in.
Yeah. My wife is like that. Like she needs like at least 8 hours to function properly. Because I can tell when she's sleepy. I'm like, babe, you need to go ahead and take a nap, please. For both of us, please.
Literally, you see it in women. It is crazy. It's like Josh, I'm telling you, he can go to sleep at 10, he'll be up at 2, like restless on his phone, doing something, and then
Yeah,
at the gym at 4:30. And I'm like, what? What?
bruh.
Sorcery.
Bruh, I can't do that. I need at least 6 hours of sleep to function properly myself. Because I'm 100% going from the time I get up until the time I lay down, I'm going the whole time. And so like I now incorporate 2 days rest. When I was working sometimes 7 days a week, I was working out 5:30 in the morning or 5:45 in the morning. I'm getting up, I'm working out for at least 45 minutes. But I need that rest now. I'm getting older. I need to rest a little bit more.
For
So
sure. I feel like that David Goggins energy came into everybody post pandemic where it's like, we can do or die, like to the end. And it's like, all right, let's scale it back. We're just people, we're just humans.
for
But
sure.
same thing here. We're up, powered up at 5 in the morning. I got a garage full of women until 10. And that's another thing too. Like, I have such a social job that
Mm-hmm.
by 10 a.m., I'm like, I don't hurt everybody's business from up the street, from who's getting divorced, I'm tired. I need a nap. Energetically, you spend so much in these like service-based business exchanges and
Yep.
stuff that it's like the wear and tear is even higher than just being by yourself all day sometimes.
Yeah, nah, no doubt. So as let's go back to RockFit. As RockFit's moving, I understand that you have several brand deals. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
Did that come from the RockFit or was that before?
I started kind of getting into like influencer work right before I was a personal trainer still.
Sure.
Nothing super crazy. I was more working with like protein companies and like wellness brands and stuff like
Don't
that.
don't don't di- don't dim that. Don't do that. Don't because we do that too. Where we like, oh, my little brand deal. No, you got a brand. Don't do that.
You're right. You're right.
Continue. I'm
You're right.
sorry. Continue.
You're right. No, you're right. I gotta, to
We
me,
I
I'm
do
like,
that. I do the same thing. I do it too. So I recognize when you was doing that. I had to stop you. Go ahead. Continue.
so what becoming a mom opened me up to a lot more opportunities with brand deals and stuff because now I had a wider demographic, bigger target audience. I've like completely flipped my following. So like branding is definitely my thing on social media.
Mm,
I had a 82% male following
okay.
before I got married, before I had my son, when I was modeling and stuff. And then now I'm down to like 27% male, all women, which is huge for me because I do everything for women.
Yeah.
So with the branding and stuff, when I became a mom, it kind of opened up some more doors. I did a brand deal with like Infamil. My family recently, they booked all of us to go to check out the new Ripley's Believe It or Not exhibit here in Orlando.
Let's go.
So I'm kind of in the influencer space is like just separate from Rockfit World. It's like just another, it's the Ray Cruz, Ray Torres entity versus Rockfit being the brand.
That's dope, man. Do you remember and tell me the feeling when somebody reached out to you? I don't know if it was a call or email, text, whatever. Hey, Ray, we want you to be our brand ambassador for this product. Please tell me about that because I'm waiting on mine. Tell me about it, please.
Soon come, keep manifesting it. Oh my God, I was so excited. I was like, my first few weren't paid. They were like
Mhm.
exchanged for products, but I was like, oh my God, of course I'll post this stuff. Like I love this. And it was awesome. It was so exciting. And it made me step up my game because I was like, okay, I'm getting noticed and I'm not professional about it. I'm not really advertising it. This is just
Yeah.
organic, based off, what people see. So I was like, all right, let me take it a little bit more serious. So then I started playing smart. I started finding my favorite brands. I would buy a few things from them and I would create just organic content of me using it
Mhm.
and get their attention. And
Mhm.
then boom, they'll hit me with oh my God, we love this video. And I'll be like, bet there's more where that came from. So I'm like, who do I need to talk to?
Yeah.
And then they started pulling themselves in. So I have a big brand partnership right now with Quest Protein. So
Mhm.
Josh is tired of it. We getting cases of Quest to the house all the time, and t-shirts and hoodies and muffins and bars and smoothies. And we just did one with Ripley's Believe It or Not. Jackson actually had a little opportunity with the Amazing Corner, which was so
Yes, yes,
dope.
yes, yes,
So dope. And he was
yes.
just so ecstatic about it. I'm
Yeah.
trying not to be that mom that like pushes him into YouTube,
Push,
but I'm
yeah.
like, baby, you a star. You might be
He's definitely a star.
he's a star. So, it's a influencing. It's a really cool space because you can be yourself and you can work with the things that you naturally like.
Yeah.
And then the whole world of like user generated content came about, which was like in the last 3 years, where now they don't even want you to post it. They don't even care if you have a following. Like they're not
Mhm.
looking for, they're spending more money dealing with people with lots of dollars versus
Mhm.
working with people with no following, and they just want to repurpose the content. So now I'm in the world of also UGC, which is like they don't even want you to post it. They just want you to make 3 videos for them, send it, they pay you, and then they'll run ads on it. And that's it. And you never have to share. You don't even got to tell people you work for them, which is
What?
really cool. Yeah.
Bruh. So this brings me to my next thing because it ties in. Me and your dad have a love-hate relationship with social media. And I'm sure, like he tells me all the time, like, yo, I take all these pictures. He takes a lot of pictures. Like we go away on vacation, he's taking pictures, and I never see him. And I'm like, dude, like I don't like social media because I feel like it's a time suck for me. Like I
Yep.
have a lot of other things to do, but it's a necessary evil. People need to know who you are. They need to know what you do and how you can add value to them. So I
Absolutely.
have to be on social media. And I'm
Absolutely.
starting to see now because I'm getting opportunity to speak and different things of that nature because people are seeing me on social media. So had I have been stubborn, like the old Raven, and not been on social media, then I may not be getting these opportunities. But it's showing me, and then hearing you talk, that you have to be on social media so people know who you are, and I get it now.
That's where it starts first, right? Like if I can't get in touch with you, I want to, and honestly, it helps people like skim through you even faster. The more they're able to
Yep.
see, it's like, okay, her personality, cool. She looks the part, cool. She does fitness on a regular basis. This isn't like a front. Like it allows people to build that connection with you. I gotta say my favorite compliment by far is that I've received even from brands have been like, we love your personality and we love how you are with your community. And it's like people see that. They see the organic, the authenticity, and it pays. And it's like, you can create a life being who you are, but you have to show up. And totally outside of everything else, I actually have a little mini mentorship that I run where I teach women how to scale on social media. Like it's like how to show up, how to make viral content, how to make content that converts, how to tell your story, how to find your target audience. Like these are all
Yeah.
key things that you get on social media and be talking to nobody for a while. Like you're like, no one's liking it, no one. And that's the part that I feel like people is gritty. People don't like that because you feel like
Yeah.
silly. But
Yeah.
like even to this day, like I'll get some posts, like one of my most recent posts did 2.8 million views.
Ooh.
2.8 million views in
Great.
2023. I had over 7 million views because 7 of my videos went viral and hit over 1 million views. And then I get posts like I posted today and it got like 66 views or 66 likes. And I'm like, this is really good.
And that be
What?
those be your favorite ones. Those be your favorite ones. You like, yo, this one gonna go off,
It's
and
gonna
then
go snap. And then it doesn't. Even the
yeah,
one that recently was like, I got 2.8 million views on. I literally posted it right before bed. And when I woke up, I was like 10,000 new followers. What did I do last night? And it
yeah.
had me checking my story. I was scared. I was like, what is happening?
Was my phone on when I was in the bathroom? Like,
I
what is
was
going
like,
on
what
here?
is on my page? And then
Yeah.
I realized that it was that video. And at that point, it had 1 million views. And I was like, oh my God, like 1 million, like a couple people shared it. And that's all it took
Mm,
is that relatable content. Even if it's not like, hey, this is me, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a personal trainer. It could be, these funny reels or these like mindset reels. Like, I personally don't take clients that their mindset isn't right. If your mindset isn't right, you're not going to be able to align with what I got planned for you. And I
correct.
made a quote on that, and I forgot what the verbiage was exactly, but like that one did like 1.6 million views, and it was literally just a quote about your mindset not being attached to your body. and me like cooking in the kitchen or something. And it's like, it was relatable. It touched people. And it showed who I was, but it wasn't a like, here's Raven
Yeah.
kind of video, but it brought him in, it brought him in.
Yes.
And then the page kept them there.
Yeah. Yeah. You're I man, it's so important to just keep going. And that was one of the things that I heard because you get the 5 or the 67 likes, and then you get the 2 point whatever million. And the thing is, it's tough for your psyche to put your heart into something and then not get the response that you're looking for. But you
Mhm.
got to keep going. Can you please talk to the person who's struggling with just keeping going, like, and how it's benefited you?
Absolutely. I feel like, well, first things first, I think it's super easy for us to log on to social media and find motivation and inspiration. But like, if no one has told you yet, motivation and inspiration does not get you to the finish line. Discipline does,
Mm-hmm.
and intention does.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever this goal could be, it could be working out, it could be, getting your mindset right, fighting depression, whatever you have as your end goal, you have to make sure that your daily habits are aligning with showing up to be that person. And you have to keep going. In order for you to beat depression, you have to show up every day and tell yourself, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to be intentional. You could look at a million quotes online and it's just going to put a smile on your face for a second, but it's not going to do the work that you're supposed to be doing. And that's why, like, even with my clients, I'm very big on like, you're not going to see the results. I have trainer eyeballs. I'm going to see the results in you within 3 weeks. I'm going to start seeing things shifting on you.
Yep.
You're not going to see that because you're battling your negative thoughts. You're battling what you're constantly fighting in the mirror. You're battling all this like negativity to yourself. But if you continue to show up, those 3 weeks, let them turn into 6 weeks. You're going to be like, oh my God, my pants fit me different. I got space in my bra. Like, these are little things that I'm like, don't focus on don't focus on that. Focus on these days, every day that we're showing up. So, if you want to be a content creator, how are you showing up as a content creator? Are you taking a day to say, okay, for the next 30 days, this is what I want to post? All right, this day I'm going to film 5 of these videos. The next day I'm going to film another 5. Like, you have to strategize and time block and master your minutes. So that
Mm-hmm.
way that discipline aligns with your intention. You're so focused on what it is that you want to accomplish that like I don't hear anything else. When I know I got to do something, I
Tunnel
don't hear
vision.
anything else. When I'm in a funk and I don't want to work out and I go 4 days without working out, I'll be scrolling and I'll be like, okay, let me get up. Let me get up. And and it's like even the most disciplined people go through that, but it's about showing up for yourself and having that separation and knowing like, okay, yes, I can get online and be inspired, but I got to get up. I have to physically do that. And I'm a very hands-on learner. I have to set myself up for success. I need to have checklists around the house that I
Mm-hmm.
could check off and say, "Oop, I got my workout in," because that serves me a reward. That makes me feel like I did it today. I just started like Duolingo, to
Mm-hmm.
pick up new languages, and my goal was 100-day streak. And I had to add the widget so I could see it every day that you checking in today. Like,
Yep.
you have to set yourself up for success, and only you know what it's going to take. And if you know that scrolling and sitting and eating a bag of chips isn't going to be what gets you up, then you need to set a calendar or a time block. The way you show up for work is the way you should be showing up for yourself. And I say that with like anything, even being a better parent. Like, that's something, as entrepreneurs, you work so much, it kind of robs you of time, which sucks. And like, even one of my goals for myself this year was like, how can I be more present as a mom? I literally had to time block and put it in my schedule. This is what I'm going to do this day, because I could say it all day. I could see him sad and wanting to play, but am I doing it?
Yeah.
And it's that showing up and making those things non-negotiables that are going to get you there.
Yeah, that's huge, man. And I think also, as far as like, to your point earlier, or say just a second ago, being an entrepreneur and then being a parent is so hard because you're trying to build something and this little person needs you.
And they
And
need you so bad right now, right this second,
bruh,
right now. It's hard. It's hard. I feel so bad sometimes. And like, I do a lot of things for the women community. So like, even
mm,
my fitness challenges or my mentorship is all women. So he'll be like, mom, mom, mom. And they think it's so cute. And I'm just like,
yeah,
but like, also understand his perspective. Like he's been in school all day and like now here I am like zoned in on working. So, even those moments, like entrepreneurship is hard, man. It's a
It
lot of
is.
sacrifice. It's a lot.
It definitely is. So one thing that we had implemented, and I think I told Josh this too. One thing that we implemented was dinner at least 3 times a week because we weren't eating dinner together at all.
Oh, wow.
And the thing was, the problem was when my wife said, "Hey, let's eat dinner." Their dinner's done, and I'm like,
You're
I'll
not
be
really
doing
hungry right
something else.
now.
I'll be doing something work related, and it's not right. But I was just so locked in. Like I'm so locked in when I'm trying to do something, but at the same time, I need to have that same locked inness with my family, the people who
Absolutely.
matter the most. So tell me about a time where you had to like realize like, yo, like I'm way too focused over here and I need to be more so focused over here with my family.
Yeah, definitely last year and the year before I started a class. It was called the SNS Experience and it was a traveling yoga class. And my first year, we killed it here locally. And I had this brilliant entrepreneur idea to start a tour. And I was like, I'm gonna go on tour. I'm a rock star. Like, why not go on
Yeah.
tour? And I took me and my little team of 5 on tour. And every month we were doing one locally and then on tour. And like, it was so much fun. It was such a fun era. But like, I got to the end of 2024, like actually to the middle, and like FaceTiming my son and like being away. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm away every month for a weekend. Like it was the year before I embraced it and like we kind of like also made them the trips. So like, we would work Friday, Saturday, and then stay Sunday to like see the city and then leave Monday morning. Last year, 2024, I said, we flying in the morning of. I'm flying out the next morning. I need to go back home to my family. Like I needed to be with my family. And like I felt bad. Like, I'm doing all this traveling and it's for work. So it wasn't like just all hanging out. But
Yeah.
it's hard because again, like I'm missing out on sports, I'm missing out on wins and like just that bonding time, all that FaceTiming for me. Like I want to be with my babies. Like I want to see them. So last year I decided to scale back on the tour, and this year I won't be doing a tour. I'll be only doing locally, and I'll be doing just New York, and just staying outside of traveling too much without them this year because it was hard. It was really hard. It was
Yeah.
fun, but it was hard. It was hard.
So yeah, one thing I appreciated about what I saw, I was looking at your page the other day and I saw you and Josh just writing down goals and praying together. And I think one of the kids was there, right?
Yeah, Jackson.
Jackson there,
Jackson.
Jackson was there, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I was like, yo, this is super dope. And I feel like we all need to do that more, praying together and then
Yeah.
writing down goals. Because if Jackson's seeing this at a young age, then the likelihood of him succeeding because he's seeing you guys succeed and he's seeing how you're succeeding by putting down goals and then knocking them down, that's super important, man.
Yeah, that was something we just started this year. I was super inspired by a post I seen online, and it was this couple. And like last year, she shared that, her and her husband made a list of like business goals and then like I guess you could call it like loose goals, like goals that they're just fun things that they want to try to do.
Yeah.
And one of their things was get courtside tickets to a NBA game together.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like to work all year and they did it. She showed them like writing it down on the board at the beginning of the year. And then December they had courtside tickets and it gave me chills. And I was like, not that I want specifically courtside tickets, but like, I was like, I want us to be so aligned. We just got married. We're going on 2 years in April. So we're trying to get up there
Let's
with
go.
y'all. Like,
Let's go.
we're trying to get up there with y'all. We'll be
Yeah.
8 years together in April.
Mhm.
And this marriage transition is we've been individuals for so long. It's
For
a big
sure.
it's a big
Yeah.
leap. So I was like, you know what? We didn't do this our first year of marriage. I wanted to go on our move into our second year of marriage with like true intention and like focusing on these things. So we wrote down like, just clear, concise personal goals, our personal budgets, our house budget, like what it takes to run our house as a business,
Hmm.
really delegating things and like really honing in on like other goals that we want to do on a personal level. Just like, I want to do this at the end of the year. Okay, well, I want to do this. So let's see if we could separate them and like work towards them separately, but do them together. So That was our first time doing it. He loved it so much. And honestly, I used ChatGPT to help me because I was like,
Yep.
I got a business meeting for us. And like I planned it all out. I asked ChatGPT, like, what are some formats that my husband and I can create financial goals together, create a budget, monitor our spending, and take care of the
Mhm.
house at the same time, do our projects around the house. And it gave me this list of questions. We ran this meeting and he loved it. He was like, we're gonna do this every quarter now. Like we have to do this every quarter to make sure we're checking back in.
Yeah.
For years since I've been with him and his daughter, we've always written our goals down. Like, I want to read 10 books. She wanted to get straight A's. I want to try a new sport, try new food, but it wasn't like financial driven. They were just like overall things. So,
Sure.
yeah, this year I was like, I want this to be more specific, more geared towards like what we both got going on. We both have thriving businesses. Like, it's time for us to like know the interworkings of each other's businesses so we can make sure we are facilitating a space where each of us can continue to grow and shift that weight back and forth so no one's dreams are being dimmed.
That's dope, man. And the more time, what I found when me and my wife, and this is totally separate, but it's the same. When me and my wife like combined our finances together, it forced us to work together and it forced us to have conversations around the thing that we were trying to do. So to what you guys are doing currently now is aligning your goals together, checking in with each other, continuing to have that conversation so everything's being reinforced, and then you guys can knock down your goals together and then you can celebrate, show the kids too, which is so important. We got to show
Literally,
these babies.
my son the other day was like, Mom, I have a call in a few minutes. And I was like, who you gonna call? He's just like, I gotta call mommy. Can I help you? What can I help you with? So it's amazing, our daughter being able to come to our office and pick where she wants to work for the day, if she wants to go help her dad do paperwork or come do retail and e-commerce with me, like being able to take my son, like, he knows when I have an event, he's like, oh, you're gonna go teach yoga today? Like, it's super cool. It's something I would not trade for anything. And, coming from someone that like did not experience a lot of entrepreneurship growing up. I had hardworking parents, but it wasn't in the entrepreneurial route. And now my dad is in his entrepreneurial space
Yes.
and he's killing it. And it's like,
Yes.
it's so cool to be able to share this capacity now because for a while I was just the black sheep. They was just like, girl, you don't want to work. Why you don't want to work for no? And I was like, I just don't like the rules. I just don't like
Yeah.
them. But
But it's working for you.
it worked. It worked. My husband tells me all the time, he's like, I do not know how you've kept your head above water these last 10 years. I said, baby, me neither. A dream and a mimosa. That's how we've been getting there.
That is super dope, man. And,
It
and I
is.
and I first of all, this has been an amazing interview, and I really appreciate your time. I know you got to get back to your son, but I do have one more question for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where do you see your empire in the next 5 years? Like, where do you see it?
Oh my goodness. That's a great question. I definitely see myself with a larger warehouse slash office space, a team of people working underneath me. I don't know how long I'll be training clients as that grows because you can only split yourself in so many ways. But
Mhm.
I definitely see the RockFit brand and the Ray Torres brand growing you know, to new heights, definitely being able to service more people around the world, going nationwide. I mean, going global with my brand,
Mhm.
and expanding and sharing more of my passion for wellness and how it has saved my life. It has saved the people around me. I would love to do more conferences and retreats and stuff like that. I have a retreat coming up in June, an all women's retreat with 20 women that I sold out in 3 weeks. And
That's what I was going to ask you. Is it sold out? So if people
yes,
see this, then they can. Okay, all right.
yes, it's sold out. I literally launched it and it sold out within 3 weeks. And I like as I grow in my brand, I realize there's new things that I love.
Mhm.
And the retreat thing is totally new to me. So it's exciting to like be going down that route.
Let me ask you this real quick, and I'm sorry. I know I told that was the last question, but my other question to that is: have you thought about maybe offering an option so people can watch it online?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that is an option.
Yes, I have a
Okay.
YouTube now that I like just do cooking and like shorts.
Hmm.
But my goal is to be expanding onto a platform where people can just be with me, work with me directly.
Mhm.
And yeah, see where that goes.
All right, cool. Well,
Yeah.
Raven, this has been wonderful, man. This has been so much fun. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And you will be back as a guest on Wealth is a Journey
I
podcast
can't
again.
wait. Thank you so much
Yes.
for your time. It's been an honor to be here. I'm so excited to see what else you come up with. 104 weeks is amazing.
Thank you so much. I
That is
appreciate it.
discipline. That's
Yes.
discipline. That's
Yes.
discipline.
For sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's amazing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. Guys,
Oh,
hopefully you guys have gotten a ton of nuggets out of here of this episode. Again, we thank Raven so much for her time and her energy. It's been amazing. Wealth is a journey. We will see you next week.